the big moment for us was before the game, that we really we must recognize what the team needs is the best of each one of us. So individual actions for the team. We are in this process so we can rebuild our confidence, so we can go through the hard competition that it is, because it doesn't stop. It gets harder and harder.
We should have been 3-0 up or 4-0 up at half-time, and we are 1-1 and with a man down. I don't even want to talk about the decision.
You're not happy with the decision?
I've seen it 10 times, I cannot see any contact. 10 times I've seen it in different angles. I don't know where the contact is.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you. Where is the contact? I cannot tell you. I could tell you the arm, the knee. I cannot tell you where the contact is.
So not happy Mikel Arteta. Let's talk about David Luiz firstly, though. 6 penalties conceded in his 18 months at Arsenal. The most red cards in the Premier League in that time, with 3 since his Arsenal debut. We're going to talk about the incident with Dermot Gallagher shortly, guys. But look, firstly, 9 red cards under Mikel Arteta since he arrived at Arsenal. Boxing Day 2019, 6 more than any other side. A discipline problem, Matt?
Oh wow, I feel some real sympathy actually for David Luiz last night. I think he's really unlucky. Much as we just saw with Bednarek at Old Trafford, he's trying to get out of the way. I mean, if there is contact, Mikel Arteta says he didn't even see the contact. It's minimal. I feel really harsh that was last night.
Yeah, Dermot's back with us. So look, Dermot, I want to ask you this, because the double jeopardy rule, I think, needs explaining. When it came in, it was to protect goalkeepers, wasn't it? So goalkeepers who are down low, trying to stop the player getting past them. But if they're going for the ball, then it's not going to be a red card and a penalty if they take the player out. And that applies the same to strikers and to midfielders. So in this incident, actually, it is the correct decision. Is that right, Dermot?
It is, I agree with Matt, there's minimal contact, but I think there is contact. And it goes back to what Karen said earlier, actually, that if he'd have slid in, made a sliding tackle and tripped him from behind, he would have been able to say he's gone to make a genuine attempt to play the ball. But the way he's gone in, you can see he hasn't, whether he's trying to get out of the way, I don't know, but I think he just clips the back of his heel. The ball's not in playing distance, and therefore it becomes a red card. But Karen makes a great point about that, doesn't it? That if he'd have slid in and not got the ball but made that genuine attempt.
So this rule needs to change, doesn't it, Dermot? Does the rule not need to change? Look, we saw it earlier in the season with Dyer and the handball, for example. Is it? And there doesn't seem much common sense, I guess, is what people would say. In this.
I think with this, though, they've gone halfway, haven't they? Because in the old days, as you say, goalkeepers come out and they were always at risk of A, penalty, B, a red card, C, suspension. They've moved it halfway house, so it could have been penalty, yellow card, no suspension. But because obviously the ball's out of playing distance and it stopped the goal scoring opportunity, because he's impeded him, it becomes penalty, red card, and then 1 match suspension. That's how it is.
Matt, Karen, you accepting that? Yeah, because Arteta was absolutely.
No, I accept what Dermot's saying about it. I mean, that's how it's written. That's how the law is written. I just think it's incredibly harsh. And I think we've seen the 2 incidents now. We've seen Bednarek and we've seen David Luiz. Karen's absolutely right now. Players will just make the decision now to go for the ball. Have a challenge, and if you do give away a penalty, you give away a penalty, but you're not going to get sent off.
I think it's slightly ruining it. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, as soon as those red cards happen, the games are done, and you're like, in terms of, as a fan, as a pundit, you might just turn off because.
Yeah, but devil's advocate, Karen, the referees, and in that incident, are there, as Dermot's saying, to implement what is in black and white in the pages, and they are just purely implementing the rules.
100% right. Letter by the law, he has to go. But it's just like it's slightly for me ruining the game. So maybe it is a case of, I wonder, Dermot, will they look to change the rule, because it is really, really harsh. It's not like he's gone to swipe someone out.
They changed the offside, didn't they, with the Man City one just a couple of weeks back? I mean, is there any chance they'll change it this year?
A relaxing in the interpretation, Matt, not a change in law. This would need a change in law, because the law is, if he denies obviously a goal scoring opportunity, he must have a red card if he doesn't make a genuine attempt for the ball. That would have to go to IFAB. The FA and the Premier League can't make their own rules. They can't change the laws to suit themselves. So that will never change until we have an IFAB meeting.
Yeah. Before we let you go, Dermot, we've got to show you the Leno incident as well. I don't think, again, like an earlier one we showed you can have any arguments with this, but it's just more confusing. This is just an instinct thing. You see Traore appeal immediately, thinking, what has the goalkeeper just done there? And he, before even it went to VAR, was down the tunnel, Dermot, wasn't he?
He was, and I think the good thing about this, the assistant was brilliant, wasn't he? Because as Leno turns away, he's actually shielding Craig Pawson, his body. The assistant flags it, communicates to him, that he stopped him going through, and a red card. Don't know why he did it, because if he'd have let it go, he could have taken a chance on the defender, maybe getting across, or the forward missing his chance. But once he does it, the referee again, his hands are tied.
Yes. Good man. That's Mr. Dermot Gallagher clearing things up for us on a Wednesday. Thank you very much, Dermot. Guys, got to talk about Pepe, someone else who's come in for a lot of criticism. £72 million, I think it cost Arsenal. Look, he's not going to win over all the Arsenal fans with just a couple of good performances, but 2 goals in his last 3. And it was a stunner, wasn't it? The one against the ball.
Brilliant. We talk about his left foot, how he's usually so prolific with that left foot, but he did really well. He actually started it, he won it back with the press, and then gets himself into, I always say, as an attacker, get yourself into the penalty area because no one can touch you, and they're petrified to give away a penalty. A good little bit of magic there and a little bit of luck, and then great strike with his right foot. Like I said, he keeps scoring with his right foot. He needs to be shooting with it a lot more like that.
I think competition for places as well. What that does, we saw about Luke Shaw and how the arrival of Alex Telles. Well, all of a sudden now at Arsenal, you feel as though there's real competition for those forward positions. Brought through youngsters through. Emile Smith-Rowe's been in really good form. Saka. Obviously, Martinelli's got himself into the team. Aubameyang's been playing out in that left position as well. So he's probably realised, if I'm going to get into the team, I'm going to have to start performing. And in recent weeks, he's doing that.
Yeah, Aston Villa at the weekend as well for Arsenal, which would be a tasty game, won't it? In terms of Wolves, what a strike that was from João Moutinho in his first goal in the Premier League at Molineux for Wolves. Yeah,
great strike. Much needed as well for Wolves. It really was, because they're going through a really difficult spell. Nuno's trying to switch things up. He's played a back 4. He's played, stuck with his back 5 at times. Not quite sure about the system. Obviously missing Jimenez. William Jose coming into the team is massive for them. Pedence being back fit the last few games I think is big as well. But this is some hit. They don't get out quick enough, but wow, what a strike that is.
Crisp, isn't it? And look, in terms of Wolves, it's been a difficult season given that they played 60 games last season, Karen, with the Europa League. Everyone thought that this was their chance, I guess, to kick on with that weight off their shoulders. But their first win in 9 games, that has been an awful run, isn't it, from just before Christmas? Yeah,
I mean, I watched them at Palace the other day and they were really poor. I've watched, they are poor. There's not the same intensity as last season, but you're right, they played so many games last season and Nuno's broke up the squad effectively because they got so far with that team, and sometimes you have to break it apart and maybe take a step back to take 2 steps forwards. And losing Jimenez, who effectively gets 50% of your goals, losing that focal point and then putting the pressure on an 18-year-old, that's a big ask. And you lose Doherty, was massive. Traore doesn't have the same link-up play with Semedo, who you saw in that goal. Yes, Pepe's done well, but the defending was very poor. So there's a lot of kind of pieces to the puzzle that's been pulled apart for Wolves, and they just need to get that formula back.
Jota as well. Jota went to Liverpool, who was the main source of their goals, particularly without Raul Jimenez as well. So they've lost some key players in that respect, and he is trying to change it. He's looking to try and kick on. You finished 7th 2 years running, and you're looking to take that next step, and it's been difficult this season with the injuries that they've had and losing those key players.
Yes. Right, 19th played 20th in a hugely important match.